my gosh, this camera is dumb clear. Anyways, what's going on, guys? It's Arrow. Welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how you're going to be able to tell if a trade is going to be worth it or not. I'm just going to basically be explaining the risk to reward ratio. Some of you guys probably already heard of that and know what it is and probably apply it right now. But you guys know how crucial that is to just stay afloat in your trading, especially if you're new. It's going to be crucial for you to really understand this and apply it to your trading. But if you're new to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe real quick, and I'd appreciate it if you guys just stop right now, hit the like button, because if you know how the YouTube algorithm works, that helps me so much. If you go ahead and do that, I appreciate it, and let's get into the video. I'm going to go ahead and start off on Snap, and I already put in my support and resistance levels, and I'll do it again right here just so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking at. Resistance, support down here. Oh, well, that's great. I just have the nearest support and resistance. I can see a little bit of a support right there, but for the most part, these are our strong support and resistance if you're trying to do like a swing trade and hold for a few days or something like that. And if you're a beginner, I definitely recommend you swing trading first to get started, just so you understand the concept of trading and how it goes, because all the concepts are the same in every niche in the market. All the principles and things like that are the same, but the trading style will just be a little bit different. First thing we want to ask ourselves is, where is the first resistance level sitting at? The next resistance level that we can see the stock was at was this level up here, and let's just calculate that from now. This is going to disappear off the screen real quick, but that's roughly an 11% profit. If it were to go my way all the way to this resistance line, that's the plan I have in my head right now, just theoretically. That would be about 11% profit if I were to buy right here. And if I were to buy right here, the downside would be about 24% roughly on the downside. Is that something you would want to get into? Risking 11% for 24% on the downside. That's a negative risk to reward ratio. That would be a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio on the wrong side. Especially if you're a beginner, you want to make sure you're calculating this. So we can clearly see that it's going to be 24% on the downside and about 11% on the upside. So I'm just going to type that in here. 24% you're going to lose, and you're going to try and profit 11%. That literally makes absolutely no sense. So you want to make sure you're getting into trades that don't have a negative risk to reward ratio, or a risk to reward ratio that is basically breaking even. You don't want that one either. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a better example of something that would have a positive risk to reward ratio, which would be something like today, VXRT. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's breaking out of its old resistance levels I've had here for a little while. It's finally breaking out with some pretty strong volume, so it might start to use this resistance as a support, and maybe even show for a potential multi-day breakout. So yeah, so it's definitely holding above this resistance now, trying to use it as a support. We'll see if it gaps up in the morning, makes higher highs. If you go to the day chart, there's no volume resistance, so there's nothing really to stop it. If you go to the past year chart, there's no ceiling above it, so that's definitely one thing to look at, but I'm going to explain to you from here. If I wanted to purchase this in the morning, which you would have known this is a potential buy already just because of what it's done in the past couple days, if I wanted to buy right here, I would risk to the next support, and I can see there's a support here from yesterday. So my risk level in my eyes would be risking down to the $2.89 area. So that would be about a 9.9% risk. And second, you guys also need to know this is all going to be relative. 9% risk will be a lot depending on how much money or capital you go in with initially. So just make sure you keep that in mind as well. So this is going to have a 9% downside, and I know this has a chance of breaking out without a resistance level if it breaks this current resistance level, which it did the first minute. So I'm risking 9% on this downside, and I'll type it in again so you guys can see it with your eyes and just so you can picture it in your head. So I'm risking, I'll just say about 10%. So say you're risking about 10% on the downside, and I'm gonna have to take that off again actually. And the upside is gonna be, if you're looking to get in on this dip, the downside would be about 9%. And the upside happened to be about 30%, but you would know just to the next resistance level if it were to get rejected. The next stock I'm going to go ahead and show you guys is The next stock I'm going to go ahead and show you guys is VXRT. And if you guys, some of you guys might have been watching this lately, but this is the past 180 days. You can see it finally broke out of its levels, making new highs, and potentially setting up for a new multi-day breakout. Definitely keep an eye on that, and definitely keep an eye on old resistance levels turning into new support levels. I promise you that's going to be key, and make sure you keep studying that as well. And make sure you study volume with resistance and support levels as well. If you don't understand volume, do a little bit more Google searching so you can understand how to apply that, and just so you can understand how to apply that and how it works overall. But this is VXRT, broke out of its range that it was stuck in the past whatever months. So if I go back to the year, you can tell it had action the past 3 to 4 months. It broke out of one of its strong resistance levels. So now we're gonna see if that resistance level can turn into a support level. I know that this finally broke above its resistance levels right here. This is where it was a resisting level, and then it broke it, and now it's holding above the resistance level, now turning this new resistance level into a support level. You will need to remember that and just understand concepts like this. And also what makes this support level pretty strong is the volume that it traded this day as well, and it's holding above its $3 and for the most part 50 cents price area. It's holding above that area, and that's a key area. That's something we want to pay attention to, because this is known for multi-day breakouts. And that's another thing you guys want to realize, is some stocks you're going to realize how they trade. A lot of them are going to trade really similar. Some of them are going to be more volatile than others. A lot of stocks will kind of have their own like personality. I don't really know how else to describe it, but some stocks will literally have their own personality. And to be able to tell how these stocks usually trade is just go back to the past. Look at the last times it spikes, what it does. Does it usually run? Does it usually not run? Does it usually dump and tank on the first day? What does it do? That's another thing to look out for any type of stocks you guys are looking at. If I wanted to get in right here on a dip buy, let's say my risk is 5%. I can see, okay, I'm risking 5% because I'm getting in on the support. So I can put my stop loss in 5% beneath that if that's what I want to do personally with my 5% that I'm willing to lose. So I'm gonna risk 5, you can risk 5%, even, let's say, even back up to its resistance levels, which is roughly 15%. So in this case, you would be risking 5%, and even less you could risk if you get in on this dip, because it clearly shows that this is trying to hold as a support. So if you were able to get in on this dip, you could be risking even just 2 to 3% for the upside of 15% for tomorrow, if it is to gap up and hit your resistance levels. But that's how you're able. So this one would be showing a little risk, probably, I'm gonna say 3%. Don't mind my drawing, this is really awful. But to make 15% on the upside, do you see how powerful that is on the long run? Let's say this is even 5%. Let's say your risk to reward ratio is 1 to 3, and you're risking 5% to make 15% every single time. And let's say you have 10 trades. Out of those 10 trades, you're going to lose 7. Let's say out of those 10 trades, you're losing 7, especially because you're a beginner. Let's say you have a 70% failure rate. Those 7 times you lose out of 10 trades, let's say you lose 5%, and let's just let that 5% stand for $50. So you would lose ultimately $350 overall in 10 trades if you were to lose 7 of them. And if you were to be correct on 3 of them, you would be making $450. So that is $100 profit in between, with having a 70% failure rate. So if you're a beginner, this is definitely something you're gonna wanna be applying to all your trades and just your trading style overall. In the world of trading, in the stock market and everything like that, just how it goes with wealth overall. People try to look rich, look the part, things like that, but the game is to keep, in life, the game is to keep as much as possible. That's how wealth works. The same thing with the stock market. You wanna calculate your risk every single time. If I'm trading or going to a trade, I do not care how much I can potentially profit on a single trade. I calculate my risk immediately first. That's the first thing I'm looking at, because that's the only thing you can really control in the market. So why would I not be a master of patience, discipline, and just risk management as a whole? So that's really my goal. That's what I'm trying to shoot for. And I really hope I can just show you guys some good habits that you want to take on. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video and got something valuable out of it. And I really hope you guys can start to apply that risk to reward ratio if you haven't already, because position sizing, risk management, all that stuff is just going to be #1 in trading at the end of the day. So it doesn't matter about how much you can make, it matters about how much you can keep. So just really remember that. If you need a little bit more help when it comes down to trading, make sure you join our Discord chat. Those links will all be in the description, all my socials to everything. So again, if you haven't hit the like button again, I would appreciate that if you did, and please subscribe to this channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.